Increasing costs breed penny pinchers. With prices on the rise, shoppers try to save money where they can, as you see in this chart right here. Cost of eggs and pork, vegetables and fruit, all pretty much higher the past few years than they had been, and perhaps the past decade. The government has been doing an adequate job of supplementing pork and some other key food ingredients, and they've been doing so for a while. Wheat and rice and things like that are all subsidized to bring the price lower. But for other staple items that are not so plentiful, the price increases continue. Inflation is quite high. Like I said before, the government likes to pat themselves on the back and call for lower inflation, and trying to spread propaganda that they are keeping a good control on inflation, but in fact for power and food and things like that, it is not the case. In my previous video I talked about Kunming in Yunnan province being a high-tech build area, and that is continuing to happen. The industrial zone in Kunming for high-tech products earned an income of $17 billion US in 2011. That will increase. They are stocking up on more building space, warehousing, and of course cheap labor. They're going to continue to try and build out the rail system and upgrade that so that they can get products quickly and easy and cheap to Europe and the Middle East. That can be a reality if they continue to plan well. Chinese shoppers, we were talking about food. What brands are Chinese shoppers loyal to? Well, among the most loyal brands for Chinese shoppers, Master Kong, which is a noodle maker. They make a lot of instant noodles. This is a yogurt company. This is Soap Safeguard. That's a U.S. brand. Master Kong again for tea. This is a very popular maker of food. Crest, Minute Maid, which is Coca-Cola, Oreo, Libby, Dove, Head and Shoulders, Olay, Colgate, Maybelline Cosmetics. These are all the most popular brands in China. And the article basically just says that Chinese shoppers are less loyal to brands, but that has a lot to do with the variety that's increasing here. There's so much variety in brands that are made that are not just domestic anymore, but foreign. And the key driver for that is the price of foreign products. Unless the tariffs get lifted or some companies move their manufacturing to China to sell domestically, they won't be able to compete at the level that some other brands have. Like I said before, the inflation, they say, hits a 29-month low, but I had just showed you an article about increasing costs in food. And this, of course, is measured not including food and energy. They measure it just like the United States does, and they do fudge the numbers. So we know inflation is quite high. You can feel it, and that is a fact. Property prices, they're trying to manipulate those as well. I did a video about that before, and that certainly is continuing to be a bubble, and there's problems galore there that I'll go into a little bit more as I get more information. China building up rare earth reserves, okay? 6 billion yuan worth of rare earth materials will be purchased from state-owned companies such as Bao Steel. In 2011, China established 11 state-managed rare earth mining zones in Guangzhou and Jiangxi province, an area covering 2,500 square kilometers. So they're upping their commitment to rare earth material, gold and silver, of course. China accounts for 23% of the world's total of rare earth minerals, and that number may grow with this new commitment to continue to mine at the cost of pollution and environmental problems, but that has never been really a paramount issue with the central planning government. As you know, China has a huge problem with air quality, water, and other aspects of quality of life. And while they are putting out the rhetoric that China is going green and investing a lot of money and time into it, the fact is that people need to be employed. And in industries such as this, that means high pollution, and that's a trade-off they're willing to take: social unrest or a green planet. And in the Chinese mindset, they will trade that. A story that is connected to that: Chinese mining seeks investors, and there are certainly plenty of investors around the world that are trying to get direct investment into China, and vice versa with the Chinese RMB. So we should see an increase in yuan convertibility and foreign investment. The social unrest front, futures in doubt. This article basically says that a lot of Chinese are getting older. They have an aging population, and the stipend that they get from the government is not enough to cover their cost, and they're quite concerned about going forward and being able to support themselves with such a low income after retirement. Same thing in the United States. The United States has an aging population, and now you've got the Obamacare health coverage that has gone into effect. You've got higher unemployment, you've got your dollar buying less, and with the aging population, we can see that the government is going to have more control over the futures of old people. And in closing today, this is the heaviest Chinese guy I've ever seen. This guy named Ding is 1.65 meters tall and weighing 180 kilograms. And he's the heaviest person in southwest China's Chongqing city. And here I only thought that, Caucasians were fat and quite ugly. I want to leave these news updates with a little bit of humor, because in the Chinese newspapers they also post these humorous stories and sometimes horrific stories of what's happening in people's social lives. A millionaire named Chen had brought a case to court in Chongqing against his grown-up son and daughter, asking each to pay him 1,200 yuan a month, because basically what happened is his children never come to visit him, and that's kind of like the new generation in China don't really have the same practices that their traditional parents and grandparents had. So he was quite upset about it. He sued them in court, and it was all for show, because they've basically forgot about him. They've got their trust funds, and they don't want anything to do with the old man. So he sues him for a sum of only $190 per month, when he's actually a multi-millionaire. So interesting. It shows a trend that the new generation, the 90s kids, and the ones that are just entering or leaving college, have different moral standards and different ethical beliefs than previous Chinese people going back perhaps hundreds of years. Okay, that's all. Take care, and hopefully I'll have some more interesting things to show you coming up.